Your new Miss Louisiana for 2017 is contestant number 15, Miss Shreveport, Laryssa Bonacquisti.
How did it feel when they announced your name as Miss Louisiana at the pageant?
Words don't fully describe that feeling. Working for something for so long. I mean, I've been a part of the Miss America organization for as long as I can remember. My mom was Miss New Jersey in 1990, so I grew up knowing about the Miss America organization and what it does for girls. But even more than that, having gotten to know all the girls around me on that stage, the 31 other contestants, it was an honor to be crowned out of those incredibly talented, beautiful, and intelligent young women. And more than that, it's an honor to be able to follow in my mom's footsteps. She got to go to Miss America, now I get to go. And so it's just my dreams coming into fruition, and to be able to have this opportunity, this job, and not just to go to Miss America, but get to represent the state throughout the year and spread my platform and make an impact in the lives of others. It's so much at once that there are no words to describe it.
Well, tell us a little bit about your family. You've mentioned your mother a couple of times, so tell us a little bit more about your family, where you're from, you know, what they're involved in, and how it was growing up in that family.
Well, I have my mom, obviously. Her name's Lynette. She's from Rockwall, Texas, a little town right outside of Dallas, which is where I grew up. My dad's actually from New Jersey, so they met while she was up as a flight attendant in New Jersey. Won Miss New Jersey on a whim. She competed about 3 or 4 prelims, won that year, and then met my dad while she was at church. And she said, "We're moving down south. We need to go back down south." And so from that point on, once they got married, she had me, and then my younger sister, Brighton. My sister's actually about to turn 18 within the next week or so, so she's growing up really fast. But growing up in that family, it was a blessing in so many ways. It was a responsibility, especially being the oldest of 2, and they put a lot of, they taught me how to set goals, and they put a lot of pressure on me to succeed, but it was the good kind, not in a way that I ever felt like, you know, I couldn't do it. And my dad, being a doctor, he always strives for success and always strives to be so great, and so that was a great role model for me to look up to. He constantly is working hard. He currently, right now, he's not only a family practitioner, but he's the chief medical director of a hospital in Rockwall. And to have that kind of a role model, it only encouraged me to push forward and to follow my dreams and actually dream even bigger than I ever imagined I could. My little sister, she's gonna follow kind of in all of our footsteps as well. She's a hard worker. She is a leader. My family, they taught me values. They taught me how not only to goal set, but to believe in myself. And no matter what other negativity was around me, especially being a ventriloquist and doing pageants and participating in the activities that I did, it did make me stand out a little bit with regard to my peers. And it made me feel sometimes a little bit ostracized because I was, you know, you always hear the stories about people being bullied, but I was bullied a lot. But because I had ventriloquism and because I had these activities I was involved in and so passionate about, I was able to push away that negativity, set goals in the areas that I loved. And the more that I focused on those goals and the more that I achieved, the more confident I became and the less I cared about what everyone else said about me. And so that's also something, apart from my personal platform, that I push for others to understand as well because of my background and because of what I grew up experiencing, and to teach others to find their unique gift, their talent, their passion, and through that they're able to succumb or, you know, push away all of that negativity.
Well, you mentioned a couple of times your ventriloquism. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in that and why you chose that as your talent.
It's obviously unique. It's a little different. I started ventriloquism when I was 6, and it really was one of my mom's friends who was competing for Miss Texas at the time. She was a classical pianist. My mom was a classical pianist as well when she competed. And one day I was at their house and I was hanging out and watching my mom help her out with interview and just, you know, helping her look through clothes. And she looks at me and she says, "Laryssa, You know, I'm also a ventriloquist, and of course I'm 6 years old. I don't even know how to spell my last name, much less ventriloquist. Actually, I knew my last name, but it's one of those difficult words you don't even understand. And she said, I want to teach you. And she taught me the basics, and like, you know, anyone's gift that they are given, I picked it up very quickly. And from that point on, my mom, of course I was 6, I didn't fully understand the enormity of what I was taking upon myself, but my mom looked at me and she knew that this was going to be something that was going to make a difference, and this was going to be something unique that was going to allow me to touch lives and to, you know, push forward and be greater than I could imagine I was at that age. And from that point on, I just took it and ran with it, and it's been amazing.
Well, that tells me a little bit about the pageants have been part of your life since you were born, obviously.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you think pageants have been so positive in your life, and tell us why you think that is. Because in today's world, a lot of young girls don't look at pageants as an opportunity or as a way to achieve their goals.
And I think that, you know, goes back to a lot of the media, and not even just that, the shows we watch. I mean, even I watch Toddlers and Tiaras, and, you know, I get really into it. I just watched it the other night because I wanted to catch up and see what was going on, because it's interesting. But the organizations I've always been involved in have been so different from what you would see on TV. It's not all the drama. It's not all of focusing on your appearance and what you look like on that stage and looking older than you are, looking like something else. What I've always been involved in was the things that are going to push me to be better and to look at myself as beautiful and to feel more confident in myself. I grew up doing what's called Cinderella, which is a natural pageant, and it's kind of a lead-in to the Miss America organization. And for me, as a child, I was quiet. It wasn't that I was shy per se, but I was more comfortable reading a book than doing anything else, and I always liked to watch. And when my mom introduced me to Cinderella, and I stepped on that stage for the first time, it's like something clicked. And suddenly, you know, I realized how much I loved being on stage and how much I loved talking to other people. And it pushed me out of my comfort zone. And from that point on, I was able to learn how to walk into an interview with adults that I'd never met before in my life, and at 6 or 7 years old, have a full-on conversation with them about what I wanted to do with my life. And the Miss America organization has only furthered those goals and furthered those opportunities for me. I can now walk into an interview for a job and have no nerves whatsoever, because I've been in an interview, a 10-minute interview with judges asking me about probably some of the most difficult issues facing our country and our world today. And so walking into a job interview looking for something that I love is nothing. And so this organization and being involved in pageants has given me these opportunities to grow as a person, to be able to feel confident in myself walking on a stage, and to walk into an interview where I don't have any nerves because I know what I'm talking about and I know it's about me. It's not about what I think Miss America should be or what I think the job is going to entail. It's about why I am the best person for the job. And so throughout this process, I've learned more about myself, and I've learned that I don't have to be someone that I'm not. What they want to know, and when I started becoming successful in pageants, was when I started to realize what the judges are looking for is me. They're looking to find out more about me. They don't want to hear a patty answer that I've memorized 50 times. They want to hear what I really have to say. And there is no right answer. There's only what's really going on in your heart and what you're really passionate about.
How do you think it's helped you to achieve everything that you feel that you want to in life?
Well, it's helped me by giving me those opportunities. You know, wearing a crown, walking into a room, you're obviously going to catch a little bit more attention than wearing your sweatpants, walking into that same room. True. Or walking in with a big fat yellow duck like Waddles. I mean, it gave me that talent, and it gives me that key that opens up the door. You know, the crown is a tool, and these opportunities are tools. You can take them and do with them whatever you want, but they are those keys that you can use to open up those doors, to find those new opportunities, to achieve those next goals, to touch a life. But it's really you that is taking on those opportunities. As Miss Louisiana, I could, you know, spend the year doing the minimum, whatever they ask of me, or I could push myself. And I could say, you know, I heard about this event. I really want to go do that. And they could schedule me for that. I could ask for my whole day to be completely full, which is what I'm doing right now. But it's what I make of it. And so you get out of any activity, like being in pageants, what you put into it.
Well, what's next for you in life after you get through with Miss America? Are you going to hopefully be the next Miss America?
Well, that's the goal. That is definitely the goal. I am here to be Miss America. But for me, after this, I have one more year of undergraduate school, and so I'll finish that off at LSU. And then I plan to go to law school. And following that, I have a passion for politics, whether it'll be political news reporting, anchoring, or going into politics, maybe even working behind the scenes, or even just practicing law. I could see myself doing one of those three things, but it's really going to be the opportunity that presents itself once I get to that point in my life.
Well, tell us just a little bit about what you'd tell a little girl if she came up to you and said, I want to be in pageants, how do I do that? What would you tell her?
Well, first of all, obviously you have to get your parents involved. You have to go and tell them that's what you want to do. I'm not sure, you know, I could never have done it on my own whenever I was a young girl. I've seen girls do it though. But I think every parent looks for those opportunities for their kid. Every parent that loves their children unconditionally, which most do, looks for those opportunities to let their kids shine. I mean, for me, my parents, they put me in everything from sports, which I wasn't great at, but they still put me in there because they wanted to see if I could do it, and then maybe I'd find a passion for it. They put me in dance. They put me in twirling. I did all different kinds of activities. But whenever a child walks forward and says, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do, I say, parents, listen. Listen to what your kid says they're passionate about. And maybe they're not the greatest contestant in the world. Maybe they're not the greatest dancer or singer. But let them figure that out for themselves. That's going to make them so much more independent. And so for that little girl, I say, go tell your parents. Go tell your grandparents. Make sure that your adults in your life that are helping you make those decisions know what you're passionate about. Because whenever you say, this is what I love, this is what I want to do, well, goodness, if I was a parent, I'd say, okay, let's do it. Let's figure out what the best coach is, what the best, you know, whatever we can do to make you successful. And so definitely go straight to your parent and let them know that that's what you want to do in life.
Well, this organization provides a lot of scholarships. So tell us, what have the scholarships meant to you and what they've provided for you in your years of competing?
Well, they've provided me with a lot. I mean, being able to go to school, obviously I still have quite a few years to go, but it's allowing me to push forward and to reach for even bigger goals. And, you know, my parents, I'm very blessed. My parents helped me out. But at the same time, being an out-of-state student, it does cost a little bit more, and with the hopes of going to law school, that's going to cost a lot more. And to be able to give back to those that have helped me so much throughout my life, by using those scholarships and not asking for so much, you know, it makes me feel more independent. It makes me proud of my accomplishments, and it allows not only myself but girls around me to achieve bigger things than they could have had it not been for their scholarships.
Well, tell us a little bit about your parents when you were crowned. Who was more excited, your mom or you?
I'm not sure, actually. All I saw was a video that someone was recording from that area. They had their phone out and they were recording, and all you see whenever they call out my name as the new Miss Louisiana is the phone just falls to the floor and then it shakes around, and then sooner or later you get dizzy enough that you stop the video. So I'm pretty sure they were either as excited, I won't say more excited than me because I was pretty excited, but to see after all this time pushing forward toward that dream and really, you know, working so hard and like most girls do, and seeing it actually happen is something that, you know, every parent hopes for. And so my parents were so proud. I mean, I don't think I've seen my mom cry that much in a very long time.
So she cried.
Yes, yes. And then I looked in the audience and I saw my dad got to get off of work, and I saw him out there in the audience, and he doesn't always get to come because he's working so hard. And it meant the world to me. My parents, my family, they mean more than anything.